In the world of motorcycle clubs, there exist intense and storied rivalries that have spanned decades, giving rise to legendary clashes and tales of defiance. At the heart of this fierce rivalry lies the Pagans Motorcycle Club, an iconic institution with an unwavering reputation as the sworn enemy of the infamous Hells Angels. On the tumultuous battleground of the East Coast, the Pagans emerged as a force to be reckoned with in 1959. In the early years, the Pagans focused primarily on motorcycle racing and social activities. However, like many other outlaw motorcycle clubs, they eventually became involved in criminal activities. With their roots firmly planted in Maryland, the Pagans quickly spread their influence up and down the coast, encroaching upon the territories that the Hells Angels considered their own. This clash for regional dominance, control of the lucrative narcotics market, and clash of cultures has led to numerous fierce confrontations and a relentless quest for supremacy. The rivalry between the Pagans and the Hells Angels has often erupted in dramatic and violent clashes. On the morning of May 14th, 2023, more than 100 Hells Angels riders gathered at a rest stop in Bridgewater, Massachusetts, to fuel their bikes en route to the Pagans Clubhouse in Fall River. Their ranks included the Hells Angels Salem chapter, which a confidential informant told the task force is a power player among the gang's Massachusetts chapters, the warrant said. Local allies of the group, including the Sidewinders motorcycle gang, offered backup. Cameras, operated by the Fall River Police Department, tracked the 100-strong group of bikers as they rode to Fall River and carried out their attack. According to reports, a faction of about 40 Hells Angels broke off from the main group and rode by the Pagans' stronghold. Pagans members, along with their girlfriends and wives, gathered inside and outside the clubhouse as they passed. The Hells Angels returned a few minutes later from the opposite direction, the warrant said. This time, about 25 riders stopped their bikes, dismounted, and descended on the Pagans gathered outside with knives, hammers, and clubs. One Pagan member was impaled with a dagger, which was still protruding from his upper body when police made it to the scene. Several others sustained injuries, including stabbings and blunt force trauma. Several Hells Angels brandished ball-peen hammers, a signature weapon of the gang, the warrant said. When the attack was over, notable amounts of victims' blood had been splattered on both sidewalks, the sides of nearby cars and buildings, and one motorcycle visor recovered from the scene, the warrant said. The bloody melee lasted just a few minutes. Comancheros. Born from the fiery streets of Sydney, Australia, in the late 1960s, the Comancheros have etched their mark on the tapestry of outlaw motorcycle culture. The club was established by a group of immigrants, mainly of Italian and Maltese descent. They named the club after the Comanche Native American tribe, known for their fierce and independent nature. The Comanchero Motorcycle Club has a history of rivalry and clashes with other outlaw motorcycle clubs, most notably with the Bandidos and the Hells Angels. The Comancheros and Hells Angels clashed at Terminal 3 of Sydney Airport in 2009 in a brawl involving 10 people in the two rival biker clubs. The brawl left Anthony Zervas, the brother of a Hells Angel, dead. The fighting was witnessed by over 50 travelers, CCTV cameras, and airport staff, including airport security, who could do little to intervene. The security staff were unarmed, and Australian federal police arrived late. 6 Comancheros were arrested as a result of the altercation and convicted of riot and affray. In November 2011, Comancheros leader Mahmoud Mick Howie was found guilty of affray and murder. But in May 2014, the murder conviction was overturned on appeal and a retrial ordered. Howie pleaded guilty to manslaughter, and in March 2015, he was sentenced to a minimum of 3.5 years in jail. In February 2018, Howie was shot dead at age 37 while sitting in his car outside a gym in Rockdale, New South Wales. Sons of Satan. The Sons of Satan Motorcycle Club is one of the smaller outlaw motorcycle clubs that was founded in 1949 and incorporated in 1954 in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, by returning World War II veterans. They were originally the dominant motorcycle club in central Pennsylvania, with over 100 members from Lancaster County and surrounding areas. During the 1960s, the Pagans began moving north into central Pennsylvania, which sparked a brief conflict between the two clubs. The conflict was resolved when Sons of Satan president John Moran and Pagans president Fred Dutch Burhans formally met and became close friends. The Sons of Satan never really faced the Hells Angels in their early years. However, when the Sons of Satan eventually merged with the Pagans, some club members switched to the new organization and found themselves at the center of an escalating conflict with the Hells Angels because they fought alongside their pagan allies during the 1990s angel attacks. As a result, the traditional Satan's Clubhouse in Raffo, Pennsylvania, was destroyed by a pipe bomb attack in December 2002. Despite the fact that no one was ever caught, the house was later restored, but many in the group thought the Hells Angels were to blame. The Warlocks. The Warlocks Motorcycle Club was established in the early 1960s in Orlando, Florida, and has long been a dominant force on the East Coast, which has put them in direct conflict with the Hells Angels' established presence in the region. The Warlocks and the Hells Angels embody distinct subcultures within the outlaw motorcycle club world. These contrasting cultures and ideologies have intensified their rivalry. While the Hells Angels have a reputation for their distinctive red and white colors, the Warlocks proudly display their colors of black and white. This clash of aesthetics and values further fuels the animosity and sense of defiance between the two clubs. The relentless pursuit of dominance by both clubs has created a legacy of clashes that testify to their fierce rivalry. The Warlocks have been in an ongoing conflict in Canada with the Hells Angels since 2014, as tensions grew over territorial disputes. When the conflict began in 2014, the police documented 20 incidents between the two groups in just 2 months. Now, years later, a possible peace agreement will be reached. What do you think is the most dangerous enemy of the Hells Angels? Let us know in the comments and subscribe to the Crooks to see more videos like this. See ya!